Let's go to another clip. We want to start looking at the issue of Jamaica a bit with this clip here. I had a chance to speak briefly. So one of the clips inside here is sort of, it really wasn't planned. I decided to pull out my phone after when I realized I'm talking to Sister Ladine in Jamaica, a sister who started studying with us. And she obviously and others, herself and another Sister Medica. Some of you may see her as Roots. Her name, Facebook name has any word Roots. But these are Adventists. And, I had sought to stay in contact with them as much as possible during the impact. And I heard from Ladine this morning. So there's a little audio clip in here with her giving me her immediate impressions as she went out today, was driving to see what happened, right? It's coming up at some point. But let's look at what we're learning. The whole point about it is, brethren, there is a lot of information indicating that this was no ordinary storm, that there was some geoengineering involved, and perhaps we have some ideas as to why as well, in terms of what plans there were for Jamaica. And not only plans, I actually found out too in one case that Jamaica is sitting on some rich resources that even they only recently came to realize. Let's take a look. We start with this one.
Because they want to put in smart cities.
Yes, so this is Sister Ladine talking. I only got a part of it, right? And she was telling me her opinion as to what is going on and why.
Because they want to put in smart cities.
Yes, we saw that too. I'm looking at that right now. Mm-hmm.
So they use this fire in California, but here they use a hurricane to destroy.
Wow. And tell me again what you were saying about even during the storm, what you were seeing in the sky.
Before the storm, you see, before the storm hit, there was a lot of white foam in the sea. White foam that some persons were thinking it was snow.
Wow.
A lot of white foam was in the sea.
Okay.
And some people were saying it's a sign of tsunami coming. But they don't understand because they are not familiar with it. I'm familiar with it because I see it in a lot of the international groups that I am in.
Right.
You know, people in Atlanta and Florida usually see it in their pool.
Right.
It is.
So what she was saying here is that before the storm hit, they were seeing a lot of white foam, a kind of white foam on the water. Some people were so surprised, they wondered if it was snow, she said. She is saying she saw this kind of thing in different places, reported in videos on the internet that people were seeing in their water, in like their pools, right? Just to help some who may not understand the accent. But that is what she was explaining. And she is saying they want to make Jamaica or create smart cities in Jamaica. And she believes that the storm was engineered.
The same thing that was seen in the water out here.
Wow. And did you see like stuff in the sky as well? Like you mentioned chemtrails before?
It is, I think it's chemtrail. Feed it, just to do what they are doing.
Yes.
So we get the residue.
Yes. Wow.
A lot of it was seen in the water and it looks foamy. It's white and it looks foamy.
Okay.
Some people were saying it's snow, but it's not snow because it's not melting.
Wow.
Not melting. Wow. So we are on the conference property now. Just a pity we don't have WhatsApp to show you, man. The roof gone.
What? This is the Seventh Adventist conference in Jamaica.
Yes.
Tell me about
West
that.
Jamaica conference headquarters. We are now. See, even the letters are blown off the building. The R blow out a church. The I blow out a office. I blow out of the word Adventist. Wow. So that the word blow off completely.
And the buildings have lost roofs.
The building is standing, but it had the shingle roof on the top floor. The roof gone. See, I'm looking at the president's office roof and the shingle blown off the top gone.
The office of the president of the conference, the roof gone.
The president, yes.
Wow.
Pastor Samuel's office, see there. Wow. The treasurer office, I see the treasurer office here. It's gone. The roof gone.
Wow, massive damage they suffered there.
Yeah, man. Damages here. There are
Wow.
damages here, and the trees, the trees are torn up.
Yes, yes.
So, well, the hospital.
So she was showing me that she was driving at the time. She said she couldn't get her WhatsApp to work, or she would have shown me how damage that the Adventist conference, the West Jamaica conference, suffered. President office roof gone, and she said even the name Seventh-day Adventist, the letters come out of the name and different things like that. Right? That's what she was explaining there.
Hospital, so the Cornwall Regional Hospital is standing. The New Children's Hospital beside it is standing. In the cranes are standing over there.
Right, right.
But,
Wow. And which area are you in?
I am in Montego Bay, St. James, my darling.
I saw some damage to even the Montego Bay tourist facilities and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a lot of flooding in the Montego Bay town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're so thankful to God.
So I said, I called my children together and I said, what to them? What would Abraham and Jacob be doing this morning? I said, you would be offering, burnt offering. So we are going to sacrifice. We are going to offer up our praises.
Okay.
Because we could have been dead.
Exactly.
And I think that's what they intended, because one man that was reporting said he's not going to report anymore in Jamaica because these people, they are not sorrowful. They take everything for a joke. They are just lively.
Wow.
So they want to see the nation caved in and sorrowful.
Well, people ought to be solemn and penitent, considering the destruction around, and to be motivated to turn to Christ and offer that real sacrifice of our lives, where we are told to present our bodies a living sacrifice, or thusia, that's the word sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is our reasonable service. Wow. Well, Sister Ladine, so grateful to hear from you and to know that you all are well. We have been praying for you.
Yes.
Also, Roots, what about Medica? Have you heard from her?
Who?
Medica, Sister Medica.
Not yet. I'm going to try calling her when we are done.
All right. Well, we've been praying for you all. I have
but
another
our
friend.
side got the storm harder than Medical side.
Your side got it harder than Medica?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to check on her now.
All right. I have a friend in Spanish Town who I studied in France with. She said they were okay too, but the place mash up, So thankful for spared lives. And we know that these things are signs of the end as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
While they expose the evils of men too with their evil inventions, we know that they are signs of the end. And we have to prepare in all time sin-freeness. Okay? For what is to come.
My dear.
Because it's going to be way worse under the plague. Yes, so God be with you and thank you. Right, okay,
Jamaica
so
people,
she's fine and Sister Medica is fine also. I heard from her after briefly, and and a few other people I know there. So it was good. She called to indicate what's going on with her, and once I get more footage, I will be able to show. But I was just putting some things on the screen over her voice. Of course, footage of the damage that, some of the damage that we know of that took place there. Now listen to this other local. So God be with you and thank you.
Jamaica people, something about that Hurricane Melissa don't sit right with me, Every time I try to post a video, somehow them a take it down. Why me not hear no thunder? And me not see no lightning. I 2 days now we are get rain. And some breeze a blow me, I tell you. A Spanish town me there, and me say, me there on the road right through. Because me have to left from my Yarga hospital, in the bad weather on some wicked road. And people, as God live it, I don't see one lightning and I don't hear one thunderball. And I 2 things them the man can't make. No man can make thunderball and lightning and Jah powers them there. Something right about this here. Some people might say me am mad, because I always say me am mad. But me something right about this. Something right about this. And I know enough people are going to say, oh yeah man, you're a madman, man. Something right about this people. I just saw me see it. That star me Melissa, something right about it.
Alright guys, tonight we're going to talk about Hurricane Melissa. They'll tell you it's climate change. They want you to think everything that's going on in this world is your fault. What they don't want to talk about is geoengineering and weather modification and changing the global electric circuit. Well, tonight we're going to discuss a little bit of that. What's up, Skywatchers? What is up indeed? Sunday, October 26, 2025. All right, guys, let's talk about Hurricane Melissa, the engineered storm. Right now, I'm watching Hurricane Melissa carve across the Caribbean, a storm that grew from a Category 1 to a Category 4 in less than a day. That kind of jump used to be impossible. Now it's becoming routine. When patterns repeat, I start asking why. On radar, you can watch the beam sweeping south to west, pulsing through the core of the eye wall. Most people call those normal scans. I call them fingerprints of the global grid. The global electric circuit connects every storm, every tower, every ionospheric heater in one continuous current between the earth and the sky. Feed energy into that circuit at the right moment, and a tropical cyclone turns into a resonant chamber. The atmosphere amplifies the push. Across the planet stand instruments that can inject high-frequency or microwave power directly into the atmosphere. Phased array radars, ionospheric heating transmitters, klystron relays, lasers, each of them interacts with water vapor and aerosols. When a storm passes through that environment, the added charge and localized heating can accelerate updrafts, drop central pressures, and lock rotation into symmetry. It doesn't create the storm, it times the ignition. This work has been documented in smaller versions: silver iodide seeding in Project Storm Fury, the Rainmaker operations in Texas, and microwave-driven rainfall experiments in China. Scale those same mechanics up, and the rapid intensification stops looking mysterious. It looks engineered. During Melissa's climb, lightning exploded over 1,000 strikes per hour inside the core. Now that's not random chaos, it's electricity in overdrive. When the global electric circuit resonates, the storm becomes the discharge path. Every flash in the sky is equalizing the potential across charged vortex. It's the visible evidence that energy coupling is happening right now. Melissa is holding as a high-end Category 4. An eye wall replacement cycle may be starting. That could ease winds briefly, but it'll make the storm larger once the new wall closes. When it completes, intensification could resume, possibly to a Category 5. At that point, the difference between 155 and 160 mile-an-hour winds is academic. The destruction is total. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has urged everyone in Jamaica to take final precautions. Hundreds of shelters are opened, airports are closed, and the forecast calls for up to 30 inches of rain and possibly more. Now, the power could be out for weeks, maybe months. The island is about to face a humanitarian crisis unseen in its modern history. My heart is with everyone there. Whatever the deeper mechanics, the suffering is real. The sky has become the laboratory of our age. We are living inside of an atmosphere that's being tuned like an instrument. The question isn't if it's happening, it's how much are we willing to see. Okay, Skywatchers, stay aware, be prepared, and until next time, keep looking up. Alright guys, what are the odds that a U.S. Naval Strike Group, a classified autonomous vessel, a 6.8 earthquake, bunker fuel operations, high-frequency ionospheric heating campaigns, all intersect at the exact moment a hurricane explodes into historical catastrophe? Alright, let's get right into it. What's up, Skywatchers? What is up indeed? Monday, October 27th, 2025. Hurricane Melissa and the Caribbean electromagnetic battleground. What if I told you Hurricane Melissa wasn't just a storm? What if the real story wasn't the wind or the rain or the category number, but the power structure swirling around it? Because Melissa didn't simply strengthen, it erupted. A sudden drive toward 913 millibars, sustained winds blasting past 160 miles an hour, and gusts over 200 miles an hour. One of the most violent intensifications in Caribbean history. A storm tightening so fast It defied the standard playbook. But storms don't evolve in isolation anymore, not in the modern world. Hurricane Melissa may have exposed something much larger, something engineered, something operational. Lightning activity surged to over 1,000 strikes per hour, the mark of a supercharged atmosphere. That kind of power doesn't come from a warm ocean water alone. All right, let's take a look beneath Melissa. The bunker fuel shipping operations, a dense metallic aerosol trail burning straight through the Caribbean, a conductive highway for storms to follow, a charged lattice for rotation to tighten around. Melissa rode these shipping plumes like rails laid across the sea. And a huge shout out to Shane Beal and Tracy Derwin over at Brush Junkie. That's where I got the information from the bunker fuel ships. And then the earth moved. As the storm exploded into a Category 5 monster, a 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck just north of Venezuela in the same time frame as the pressure collapse. Coincidence? Or a lithosphere-atmosphere coupling event triggered by rapid atmospheric mass displacement, intense global electric circuit disruption, electromagnetic agitation in a stressed fault zone. The atmosphere surged downward, the crust snapped back upward, two sides of one system, Earth responding to the storm's unnatural charge. And the Navy was waiting. Here's where every hair on your neck should stand up. A classified United States uncrewed naval vessel parked in Puerto Rico, multiple U.S. naval ships and submarines positioned just off of Hispaniola. High-frequency transmission logs from HAARP show a 6.8 megahertz ocean scatter experiments in those exact same hours. Ionospheric heating scheduled by HAARP and actively underway by ISCAT, the European Scatter Association. So ocean scatter means using high-frequency beams to bounce signals off of the sea's surface and objects on or below it. Submarines require electromagnetic masking to operate covertly. Hurricanes provide moving environmental cover. Melissa wasn't just a storm, it was a dynamic battle space, a perfect electromagnetic camouflage curtain stretching from the ionosphere to the sea floor. In one synchronized window, we had a rapidly electrifying superstorm, a major earthquake, United States Navy Strike Group positioning, classified autonomous vessels, high-frequency radar experiments targeting the ocean, bunker fuel aerosol corridors beneath the core, ionospheric heating in the polar cap. Each piece would be explainable by itself, but all of them at one time, statistically impossible. What are the odds that a United States Naval Strike Group, a classified autonomous vessel, a 6.8 earthquake, metallic aerosolized shipping lanes, and electromagnetic transmissions all intersect at the exact moment a hurricane explodes into a historic catastrophe? The odds are zero. Tonight's video isn't about forecasting the weather for Jamaica or the hurricane. It's about testing electromagnetic dominance in a real-world crisis, mapping storm, ocean, fault interactions in live fire, normalizing military occupation under humanitarian branding, using disasters as a delivery mechanism for smart city reconstruction. Storm, crisis, crisis, installation, installation, control. We've seen the blueprint, we've watched it play out before. Melissa is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the next act. When you put all these pieces together, nature didn't lose control, we took control. Melissa didn't turn toward Jamaica, she was guided. The earthquake didn't just happen, it was triggered by the system's overload. The Navy didn't just prepare for disaster, they anticipated the outcome. A weather event becomes a weapons test. A coastline becomes a geopolitical asset. A catastrophe becomes a reset opportunity. This is where the storm ends and the truth begins. All right, Skywatchers.
Wow.
Stay aware, be prepared, and until next time, keep looking up.
So I've been
You're
tracking
looking up.
Hurricane.
You need to see. You need to recognize your redemption droid now. He said, "Keep looking up," right? So, brethren, you heard his expressions there. I have a map I will show you just now. Just something from UE showing there have been so many earthquakes, and I know that many of you were commenting that day when we all felt that big one. That was 6.7, and then there were some aftershocks after it, which seems like not just aftershocks, but like sizable earthquakes too. I remember feeling one of them, and I think that day was Monday. It was being reported that there was something like maybe 10 for the entire day, and it was all in that same one area of Guadeloupe. We'll see it just now. Let's just listen to this last clip here. And you notice he mentioned something which will come up in other clips. The issue that Jamaica has been, Jamaica's government administration, has agreed to the Smart City Plan as part of the UN SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, as they call them, for 2030.
Next time, keep looking up.
So I've been tracking Hurricane Melissa closely, and this is just absolutely insane. The eye wall, which is the outer ring of the hurricane, is somehow still fully intact even after moving over Jamaica. That just doesn't happen. In all my years of watching storms, I've never seen anything like this. Something about this just doesn't feel normal or natural. Totally unnatural. We're getting to a point where weather modification isn't just a wild theory. It's a conversation we need to be having. I'll keep you guys updated. So I've been tracking Hurricane Melissa closely, and this is just absolutely insane. The eye wall, which is the outer ring of the hurricane, is somehow still fully intact even after moving over Jamaica. That just doesn't happen. In all my years of watching storms, I've never seen anything like this. Something about this just doesn't feel normal or natural. Totally unnatural. We're getting to a point where weather modification isn't just a wild theory. It's a conversation we need to be having. I'll keep you guys updated.
Okay, let me just put back on my camera here. Right. Let's continue to look at what persons are saying concerning why they believe that this storm was not a normal situation, and what they know about Jamaica and their commitment to New World Order goals. And of course, what the guy said there is not just we need to begin talking about it. The fact is, it is known. It is well known. One moment. It is known that geoengineering is a thing, and I will remind us, is a reality. It happens. They do it. And I will remind us of some of the things we had seen about it in recent past when I play for you a clip from Greg Reese. All right, I'm just queuing up my next clip here. One moment, please. The realities of hurricane disaster, made hurricanes, natural hurricanes, the disasters they bring, the realities. This is the White spoke of them. She talks about Satan sweeping away the ripening harvest and creating famine and so on. And in this clip, before I go back to the continuing to talk about the realities of Jamaica and why it may be a candidate for this behavior, this sort of engineered storms to destroy it, I just want to show you, it's not exhaustive, a clip of a few visuals of what has happened there. And one of the things to note is that the storm has destroyed the country, basically. I mean, people are saying not even Gilbert was, well, I mean, it's like it has beat back the famous Hurricane Gilbert that in history we learned as children. You know, you're growing up, you hear about Gilbert. Hurricane Gilbert mash up Jamaica. That's what they used to say. If I recall, there was a song, Hurricane Gilbert mash up Jamaica. And now we're talking about a storm that was stronger, as it were. They're saying it could be the strongest in history. And certainly for Jamaica. And one of the things that is pointed out in this compilation, as the Prime Minister went around surveying the damage, is that the area of the country that is known to be the bread basket, what we will call the bread basket of the country, that produces the most in terms of food for export, etc., mashed up completely. St. Elizabeth. So you see how Sister White is saying, when Satan favors and prospers some to do these calamities, to do this destruction, he sweeps away the ripening harvest. And you know what follows is things like famine. Okay? Well, the entire area, I mean, there's some areas that were harder hit than some, but the area that was known to be the breadbasket, Sister Kirona was confirming that for me too. Sister Kirona is from Jamaica, but she's not actually living in Jamaica. Her family is there. She has property there. And she told me, she said, that's the food basket, Sister Anissa. That's the food basket of the country, and it's gone. It's mashed up. Right? Let's take a look.
Well, guys, you would have seen this on social media. So this was the house that the firemen were taking persons out. Oh my gosh. You'd have to see this in person for you to see the magnitude. So this is one house, see, fully underwater. And there's another house around there that's underwater also. Jeez. And then persons are actually here. Okay? A lot of persons here just looking, because this could have been worse.
This is the works of the contra humans, man. Bill Gates actually owns patent for geoengineering. You will see it
before you reach there. Alright, if you look behind, you can realize there are two houses covering us. One down there, and one down there.
Two houses covered.
One behind the tree. I work at the hospital here. We've been on the road for the last
This is the Prime Minister.
because the hospital mash up. We don't have nowhere. Yes, and see we are trying to get some tarpaulin to see if we can put up on the roof, and the rain coming again. It's terrible. We went through hell last night. I didn't know we would make it up to this one, but I give God thanks. I swear and cry. And I can't get in touch with Shari, so I don't know. She can see this, Shara. Me and Oman Ajaven is okay. We're not dead or anything. We're just trying to salvage what we can. We'll get in touch with you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Aerial shots of St. Elizabeth. This is the food basket. The aerial shots of St. Elizabeth are heartbreaking. You see? It's like it just mashed down completely. Just like rubble. Right? It's to show how high the water came, Sister Karima, and all the modern thing. None of the house covered up, basically almost up to the brim. This is the food basket area, and it's smashed up. So you know, whatever harvest, it's swept away. He sweeps away the ripening harvest, and he does this through his agents in the earth, whom he uses to do his lust. Because they try to kill God. They are contrary to all men, adversary to all men. This is the reality. Discovering, and I saw another one said they found two bodies under some waters in an area. This is the town Black River. And so I'm sure they're finding more still, you know. I don't have like a total figure of how many deaths as yet. I know Gaza looks worse, but looking at this, it's like reminds you of some of those grey images that you see. Look at that area there, like if some fire or something just passed through and burned it up. Strip all the vegetation. Strengthening from a category 1 to a category 4 in a day. Moving slow and sitting over the country. And pass over the country and the eye wall doesn't collapse. All this destruction is at the hands of satanic agents, satanic representatives who have nefarious intent, who lied about climate change and try to justify interfering with the weather to so-called help. Meanwhile, they are creating disasters and directing them where they want them to go for whatever purposes they have. We're told this is the magnitude of the disaster. And this is just one area. Yes, man, just recently was re-elected in Jamaica. He's supposed to be a 7-year Adventist.
90% of that will be your estimate. About 90% of after today's assessment.
Mm-hmm. You know, I remember thinking when the young man was saying he found the storm strange because he didn't see lightning and thunder and so on. I remember saying to Brother Calvert, but I remember during burial here last year, we found that strange too. There wasn't any set of lightning and thunder to talk about, you know, but a lot of wind especially and rains, of course. And he said the same thing. He said that was his experience and he was watching things and he found it weird that he didn't have lightning and thunder that he would normally associate with a great storm and a great hurricane.
These are brand new.
Wow.
These are put up in there after the poles are up. Yeah.
Electric pole. So this is just a bit of the video that they posted, excuse me, on Facebook with the Prime Minister doing a bit of walkabout and also flying about from the aerial view that we got a while ago. And there's so much more, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to require great rebuilding and starting over from scratch in a lot of instances. And it affected the entire country. I know of persons who say, well, okay, they didn't lose their roofs because they had concrete roofs, but the devastation around them, even though their area may not have been as hard hit as other areas. Montego Bay, which is a very tourist area, was destroyed. In my next clip, Mr. Karima, you will see something I came across, a report that was done 2 months ago concerning Jamaica. It is being said that Jamaica is sitting on potential of $400 billion in rare resources. And one of the clips that I got from Brother Aaron just before I came live, I'll probably have to show it by itself, a short clip, revealed that it's not too long ago they had digital ID conference in Jamaica. So I have no doubt that the country humans, the New World Order, the globalist plans are afoot where the country is concerned. Okay, so let me see, maybe I could speed this up a bit and take us to, so he's just talking to people and finding out what happened. You know, hospitals were damaged so bad in some cases. Lost roofs, hospital lost roofs in some cases, right? Let's take a look at this next clip here. In some instances, people show footage and it's not necessarily always the true clips from the country. Let's look at this.
Okay, we need to talk about what's happening in Jamaica right now because nobody is talking about the coincidence, the shocking coincidence that Jamaica signed on to do and now is experiencing this Category 5 hurricane that's wiped out the frickin' island. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected, and now let's get into it. So did you know that Jamaica signed on to something called Vision 2030, where they want to change a lot of how Jamaica was, and they have all these fancy buzzwords, but what it really is surveillance, smart grid, smart technology, smart city. Kind of like what happened in Hawaii. As you can see on the website, you see the Sustainable Development Goals. That's Agenda 21. Now, Agenda 21, as we know, is the shocking agenda to do a lot of things to all the countries in the world, which seem good on the surface, equality, diversity, inclusion, when it really comes down to surveillance, control, and basically a prison without bars, controlled by AI. Jamaica has a comprehensive plan for smart city development, including a new city project. Well, how are you going to build a new city where there already is one? Oh,
smart city coming
what
for
happened
Jamaica.
to Maui? What
That was
happened
their
to
plan.
other places that had a smart city plan? What happened, the other thing I was thinking too is what happened to the hurricane that blew into South Carolina where they found a massive lithium deposit and then a hurricane wiped out the whole area and they're telling people they can't build there anymore? Vision 2030 Jamaica, absolutely shocking. The plan to test and implement smart technologies. Improve your quality of life. Yeah, talk to a robot every frickin' day. Real lifestyle quality there, dude. And then also, drive economic growth. Do you mean economic units where they judge you based on carbon credits and there's no longer currency? Is this the whole plan? Let me know if you think this is just a shocking coincidence. But actually, I guess I didn't really say, how would a hurricane have anything to do with this plan? Unless, of course, you could do anything to modify the weather. But surely weather modification is totally fake and impossible, right? And it would never be used nefariously against innocent people. We'll talk more about that in the next one. Comment your thoughts below and follow for more.
So Jamaica has a plan for a smart city, literally. as a part of their commitment.
Looks like we have a new smart city land clearing operation going on. This time it's in Jamaica with Hurricane Melissa, the fastest growing hurricane ever. Hurricane Melissa is now stronger than Hurricane Katrina. The slow moving Category 5 hurricane is forecasted to dump several feet of rain on New Kingston, aka New Jamaica, which is already slated to be a smart city. That's 8 billion reasons to send a Harpo-cane to Jamaica.
See? Right? And we have Hustleby talking about it too.
Now, let me know what you guys think about
what he
this, but
says.
right now we need to talk about Hurricane Melissa, because as of right now, it's officially a Category 5.
People in Jamaica are bracing for what's predicted to be the most destructive hurricane on record to hit the Caribbean island. Category 5 Hurricane Melissa is bearing down on the nation. Forecasters say it's likely to cause catastrophic flooding, landslides and widespread damage.
They're already calling it the worst storm to ever hit Jamaica since records began. In fact, if you look at the barometric pressure inside the eye of the storm, it's even lower than Milton, making Melissa the second strongest hurricane we've recorded in October or November.
Yeah, this is Adam Berg. He's giving me this
Pressure
information.
is now down to 896.
Oh, my Jesus Christ. Okay. All right, I'm going to hold it together here. So 896 millibars is stronger than Hurricane Milton when it made that run last year.
Melissa's going to go down into the history books as the strongest hurricane that we know of to ever make landfall, the strongest landfalling hurricane that we know of in the Atlantic Basin.
Wow, man, so shocked he called out Jesus' name and bow his head. Yes. Yes, that's him, Sister Ria. Look at his X handle in yellow.
Once again, the question is, why the hell are these record-breaking storms hitting us one after the other?
What is the policy vision?
Every Jamaican is consuming goods and services above the minimum acceptable national standards and has equal and equitable opportunities and support to achieve and maintain income security and improved quality of life.
Sustainable
What are
Development
the
Goals
policy
add.
goals?
The national poverty goals are to eradicate extreme food poverty and reduce absolute poverty to significantly below 10% by 2030. These goals are fully aligned with the Vision 2030 Jamaica National Development Plan, Jamaica Social Protection Strategy, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Now, as you can imagine, whole
That
neighborhoods
picture
are
is not actually
completely
from Jamaica.
underwater
That
in
was
Jamaica.
corrected sometime today. That one he had on the screen there, but this is footage. Great Bay, St. Elizabeth. I think this was a hospital roof being lost. I saw that. It's some police station or something that was flooded. It's horrible indeed. I'm sure we haven't even seen the house, this area. You know? But to think of what is involved, what is behind, who is responsible for geoengineering?
Hurricane Melissa making a direct hit on Jamaica. The Prime Minister declaring the entire island a disaster area, many parts cut off by flooding, and power is out across nearly 80% of the island. At least 7 people are known to have died, but that number could rise as emergency workers comb through the aftermath. About 25,000 tourists are also riding out the storm.
And it's heading straight towards Cuba and the Bahamas next.
Storm's moving northeast at 8, pressure's up to 950, but it looks like an eye is trying to reform here, so it may re-strengthen a little bit before it finishes and makes landfall here on the east side of Cuba.
They're saying the U.S. will not be directly impacted, that we'll only feel it through dangerous rip currents. I really hope that's true, but this storm has been shifting in unnatural ways since the day it formed. And also, let's not forget what's already been hitting places like Boca Raton.
I would say
so he includes what's happening in Florida right now, in Boca Raton, in Florida. And this was considered to be very weird because it wasn't like, it's not a hurricane, but it's like effects like a hurricane. Severe storms bring up to 19 inches of rain in parts of Florida. He included that when he was talking about Jamaica. Slow-moving storm dumps as much rain as a hurricane in Central Florida.
Oh my God.
Slow moving means you get to stay over the area longer and do damage. Like somebody is using a remote control. This is Florida.
So I'd keep a very close eye on it, but here's where things start to get weird. All of this is happening at the exact same time those so-called experts said a UFO-like object would be passing by Earth.
You know, it will pass closest to the sun on October 29th, 2025. I got a text message the other day from someone who said that he is trading options on the volatility of the market with an expiration date of October 29th. In order to make money, and I immediately thought that I don't know if there will be meaning to money if this object turns out to be technological after October 29th. If you want to take a vacation, take it before that date, because who knows what will happen.
Now they're claiming they can prove what it is by tracking how it moves around the sun.
Another faction, however, says, now, wait a minute. Perhaps this is a visitor. An intelligent visitor from another solar system.
I left it in because I wanted you to see what
we can have a test of it. That's right.
Says he believes
this
it is
week,
at the end.
It turns out that the asteroid or comet will be whizzing around our sun, and if it picks up extra energy on its flyby, that would clinch it. That means there's extraterrestrial intelligence involved. So watch for it. On October 30th, starting then, we're going to track it.
Look, I don't believe a single thing they say about UFOs or mystery objects, but I do believe something bigger might be going on. Maybe a test run for Project Bluebeam, a way to see how the public reacts if something unexpected suddenly appears in the sky. So whatever happens next, do not take anything at face value. Question everything, because the second we stop asking questions, that's when the deception begins.
Wouldn't it be crazy if Hurricane Melissa is currently on the shores of Jamaica and it's looking like one of the most powerful storms to hit Jamaica in 100 years? Wouldn't it also be crazy if the trajectory of the hurricane was drastically different last week? It was supposed to be going north, you know, and then all of a sudden it kind of made a sharp turn towards Jamaica. Wouldn't it also be crazy if the severity of the hurricane really exponentially picked up over the last few days as it approached the shores of Jamaica? Rapid acceleration. And I mean, I could throw up a number of patents right now showing that government has these technologies. But wouldn't it also be crazy if Jamaica, Kingston, has been named to be a smart city 2030, completely digital ID, digital everything, Big Brother, all that. Peter Thiel, Palantir, coming to a city near you.
Wow.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Wouldn't it also be crazy if, I mean, you know, there's debate about whether these reserves are real, but I guess it'd be kind of crazy if Jamaica may have just discovered like $400 billion in natural resources. I mean, it'd be easy to mine if everything was just fucking gone. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry about that.
Anyways, that would all be so crazy. But I mean, who would do that to Jamaica? It's not like the American government was funding rival factions of their governments. Now that's crazy, dog.
Few Jamaicans realize that beneath the familiar red earth of our bauxite mines lies a potential fortune. 50 million tons of rare earth elements.
I want you to listen to this, right? Just interesting. I'm just sharing this with you, right?
It's crazy, dog.
Few Jamaicans realize that beneath the familiar red earth of our bauxite mines lies a potential fortune. 50 million tons of rare earth elements, critical for electric vehicles, smartphones, and even military technology. Long dismissed as waste, this red mud could hold the key to Jamaica's economic future, with analysts estimating potential earnings ranging from hundreds of billions to over $1 trillion if fully developed. The global race for rare earths has never been more intense. As countries scramble to secure supplies for green energy and high-tech manufacturing, Jamaica suddenly finds itself holding a card the world desperately wants. But opportunity comes with risk. If we hesitate, these riches could slip through our fingers, enriching others while Jamaicans are left behind. In this video, we uncover the truth about Jamaica's rare earth minerals, the untapped treasure that could reshape our economy, and the fierce competition already brewing for control of it. The secret in Jamaica's red mud. For decades, Jamaica's bauxite industry has churned out millions of tons of alumina, leaving behind mountains of red mud, once seen as a useless, toxic byproduct. But recent scientific studies revealed that this residue holds some of the highest concentrations of rare earth elements found anywhere in the world. In 2013, Japan's Nippon Light Metals partnered with the Jamaica Bauxite Institute, JBI, to build a pilot plant to extract these elements, sparking hope for a new industry. Yet the project stalled when global rare earth elements prices collapsed, leaving the red mud undisturbed. Now, with demand for rare earth elements soaring again thanks to electric cars and renewable energy, the potential value of Jamaica's waste has been thrust back into the spotlight. Analysts estimate that a single ton of processed ore could yield tens of thousands of dollars in rare earth elements value, transforming what was once an environmental liability into a national asset. These rare earths are not just valuable, they're strategic. Countries that control them hold power over the future of technology. The question is, will Jamaica seize this moment, or watch as others mine our red earth for profit? The new gold rush. Geophysics and others. Enter Geophysics Jamaica Ltd., a local exploration company leading the charge to unlock this hidden wealth. In 2023, Geophysics announced the discovery of at least 50 million tons of rare earth elements-rich laterite in St. Elizabeth, one of the largest such finds in recent memory.
You hear where they found the thing? They say they found the thing? In the same St. Elizabeth we just saw get mashed up. The bread basket. They said they discovered 50 million. Let me tell you what she said. 50 million tons of rare earth elements in St. Elizabeth. In 2023, she was talking before about the bauxite waste. Them coming to realize that the waste from the bauxite, because we know they have bauxite, is rich in rare earth elements. And they moved to check it out. And here she is saying that where the 50 million tons was found is in the same St. Elizabeth that was one of the hardest hit areas that the Prime Minister, when he went in his helicopter or whatever, showed us an aerial view of. Did you hear that? Let me carry it back a little piece. Listen.
Seize this moment, or watch as others mine our red earth for profit. The new gold rush. Geophysics and others. Enter Geophysics Jamaica Ltd., a local exploration company leading the charge to unlock this hidden wealth. In 2023, Geophysics announced the discovery of at least 50 million tons of rare earth elements-rich laterite in St. Elizabeth, one of the largest such finds in recent memory. Conservative estimates suggest this deposit alone could generate hundreds of billions of dollars in gross revenue, with even a fraction of that capable of transforming Jamaica's economy. Geophysics holds more than 70 exploration licenses, mapping potential rare earth elements hotspots across the island. Cutting-edge electromagnetic surveys and drilling programs hint that the true scale of Jamaica's rare earth deposits could be even larger, drawing interest from international investors and technology firms eager to secure their supply chains. But as competition heats up, hard questions arise. Who will benefit most from this newfound wealth? Will Jamaica develop its own refining capacity, or see its resources exported for pennies on the dollar? The answers will determine whether this boom leaves Jamaicans richer, or just watching from the sidelines. The 2021 government warning.
Over the time. It's exciting, and when the Commissioner and the geophysics team have told me that some of the survey results they have picked up have indicated that they need to proceed. And if you spend over $1 billion on phase 1 and phase 2, and you get an indication to move forward, it therefore tells me that we're at the cusp of a brand new industry. And while nothing has been found yet or confirmed, what is clear is that the indicators tell us that something is afoot. And therefore, I am very, very proud as Minister of Mining to see that it's a Jamaican company, because we have had companies from overseas all the while putting down their claims. But this is the first time such a comprehensive program has been done outside of what was done by CEDA a few years ago.
In 2021, then Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montague sounded the alarm in Parliament. Jamaica might already be missing out on the rare earth boom. He revealed that residues from Jamaica's bauxite were being processed abroad, where companies were extracting rare earth elements without paying Jamaica a cent. The ministry even sought legal advice on whether the Mining Act covered these cases and what royalties might be owed. Editorials in major newspapers pressed for answers. How much of Jamaica's rare earth elements wealth had already been taken? And why wasn't the country moving faster to capture value at home? Montague assured the public that the JBI was still working on extraction methods, but skepticism remained. Many feared that without urgent action, Jamaica would lose the next great resource windfall, just as it had lost others before. That moment was a wake-up call. Today, with rare earth elements prices climbing and global demand exploding, the stakes are far higher. Failure to act could cost Jamaica not just billions, but its best chance in decades to break free of economic dependence. Opportunities and risks. Rare earth mining could be a game changer for Jamaica, generating revenues in the hundreds of billions and creating thousands of skilled jobs. Even under conservative projections, net economic value could exceed $400 billion over the life of the deposits. For a country long searching for new growth engines, rare earth elements offer a tantalizing opportunity to rewrite the economic story. But risks loom large. Extraction requires advanced technology and tight environmental controls. Without strong oversight, mining could harm fragile ecosystems, contaminate water supplies, and displace communities. There's also the danger of foreign companies taking the lion's share of profits, leaving Jamaica with little more than scarred land and unfulfilled promises. To succeed, Jamaica must develop its rare earth elements sustainably, maximizing national benefit, ensuring transparency in deals, and building the capacity to process and refine at home. Anything less, and this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity could become another tale of lost potential. The future, Jamaica's place in the global tech war. Rare earths are the building blocks of the future, essential for electric vehicles, renewable energy, and advanced defense systems. Control over rare earth elements supply chains has become a strategic priority for the world's superpowers. With its newly confirmed reserves, Jamaica could emerge as a pivotal player in this global race. But time is not on our side.
You heard what she said? The rare resources can be used in weapons development, and also she said something about it has become a priority for, let me just play it over. I want you to hear that part, because you see, this is where you begin to understand perhaps what kind of interests globalists would have. They're not studying about sustainable mining and whatever. They mashed up the place so that now the people will need help, and they will come in and they will take what they want and look for what they want, and they already know the potential. Let me see if I can find back the part that I want us to hear again here.
The future, Jamaica's place in the global tech war. Rare earths are the building blocks of the future, essential for electric vehicles, renewable energy, and advanced defense systems.
Right. So the rare earth metals or materials are essential for building defense system. That's one.
Control over rare earth elements supply chains has become a strategic priority for the world's superpowers.
Control over rare earth supplies have become a priority for the world's superpowers. When we tell you about this, the greed, the covetousness, the selfishness, the lust for power, right? And you will kill, you will destroy just to get it because you're the God of the world and you want the world for yourself. Control. They scope out these things and they see and they want to rob you. Barabbas says communism, robbery, murder. Okay? Robbery for control, murder, lying. All because they made themselves agents of Satan, having rejected Jesus, who was Yahweh, in a temple of flesh, whom they attempted to kill, attempted deicide. See?
With its newly confirmed reserves, Jamaica could emerge as a pivotal player in this global race. But time is not on our side. Other countries are moving fast to lock in supply, and the window of opportunity won't stay open forever. If Jamaica delays, it risks watching others claim the riches beneath our feet, wealth that could reshape our economy for generations. The question is no longer whether Jamaica has rare earths. It's whether we have the vision, technology, and willpower to turn this hidden treasure into prosperity. The rare earth race has begun. Will Jamaica win?
Right. So I wanted to share those things that I saw with you because we always know there is some nefarious intention because of loss of money, which is the root of all evil. We saw it happen, and I will bring back some evidence of this. We saw it happen when we looked at what happened in, I can't remember the state now in America, but in one case, they destroyed the place to get at the lithium. You remember? I have it in a clip here. We saw it happen before. It is not a strange thing that they would do geoengineering to destroy a place, destroy even lives, run people out of the area for control and for access to their resources. So this is what I'm going to show you here in this next clip, right behind this one, right? Let us be reminded of the reality of geoengineering, what they seek to achieve through it, and we will also see briefly what Bill Gates, who is a contra-human, which will be reproved again in a brief way, what Bill Gates has to do with geoengineering. In other words, with making these storms.
It lays the predicate and the foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
You hear that?
Project Cirrus is the first official attempt to modify a hurricane. It was run by General Electric with the support of the US military. The official theory was that by changing the temperature outside the eye wall of a hurricane, which they did by seeding the clouds with various compounds such as silver iodide, a decrease in strong winds will result. On October 13, 1947, Project Cirrus targeted a hurricane heading out to sea. Approximately 180 pounds of dry ice was dropped into the clouds. The crew then reported a pronounced modification of the cloud deck, and the hurricane abruptly changed direction and made landfall near Savannah, Georgia. The public blamed the government. Irving Langmuir, who pioneered General Electric's atmospheric research department and admitted that the project was about learning how to weaponize the weather, also claimed the reversal of the hurricane had been caused by Project Cirrus. But the government denied it for 12 years. After a short delay, the project officially continued, and in 1965, Project Storm Fury had targeted Hurricane Betsy for seeding. On that day, the storm immediately changed direction and made landfall in southern Florida. Congress blamed it on Project Storm Fury, but the government claimed that the hurricane shifted before they ever had a chance to seed it. And after 2 months of congressional hearings, the project was allowed to continue. During the Vietnam War, weather modification was weaponized in Operation Popeye. And as a result, starting in October of 1978, an international treaty now prohibits the military use of weather modification. In 1997, U.S. Defense Secretary William Cohen said that we have enemies capable of altering the climate and setting off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves. And so controlling the weather seems to be a very real thing. And while the media lies to you, the government has placed gag orders on employees of the National Weather Service, who have sought legal counsel to reverse these illegal gag orders. And they no longer need to seed the clouds. Chemtrails, or as John Brennan of the CIA calls it, stratospheric aerosol injection, allows these black government projects the ability to put whatever they want into the skies. And HAARP has the ability to change the temperature within the ionosphere. In congressional hearings, it was made known that HAARP was a successful operation of controlling the ionosphere with ultra-high-powered radio frequency, and that the Air Force and DARPA went on to develop their own versions.
The Air Force has gotten great value out of HAARP in the past. We took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of experiment campaigns up there and have finished our work that we're interested in doing up there. We've moving on to other ways of managing the ionosphere, which the HAARP was really designed to do, was to inject energy into the ionosphere, be able to actually control it. And but that work has been completed.
Frequency transmission manipulation of hurricanes is one of hundreds of patents on weather control. With conductive particles added to the storm, radio frequencies from multiple locations can steer a hurricane. According to geoengineeringwatch.org, this happened with Hurricane Ian.
This is Hurricane Ian, passing near the NexRad transmission facility in Key West, Florida. When the transmission facilities are fully energized, they have a repelling effect on any air mass that has been saturated with electrically conductive climate engineering elements. As Hurricane Ian is allowed to make landfall, the frequency transmission facility in Melbourne, Florida is fully engaged. This effectively slows Ian's migration inland. The transmissions can diminish precipitation in some regions while augmenting it in others.
Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
And this is a portion of another one where he refers to the lithium issue in another state. He had repeated some of what he said in the first one, so I didn't repeat it, but you will see. Yeah, this happened in, I think it was North Carolina. I stand corrected as some of you were trying to help me there. And this was geoengineered. And there was a control of.
We have had the technology to create, control, and steer hurricanes for decades. Project Cirrus is the first official attempt to modify a hurricane. In October of 2012, after Hurricane Sandy weakened to a tropical storm, microwave imagery shows a thick red beam immediately followed by Sandy growing into a Category 1 hurricane and taking an unexplained left turn into New Jersey. The push towards alternative energy demands more lithium, and according to the U.S. Geological Survey, the United States has over 6 million tons of identified lithium resources. The majority of this lithium has been identified in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Kings Mountain is believed to have one of the largest resources in the world. But the biggest problem is that people live there and they don't want their quiet towns turned into lithium mines.
See that?
People in Cherville have been pushing against a proposed lithium mine for the last several years. But everyone we spoke with here said it's too divisive of an issue to share their opinion on camera. Cherryville is a small, quiet town.
I think that's good that we keep it small.
So quiet, many don't feel comfortable speaking out against Piedmont Lithium's proposed mining operation nearby.
I think we're a silent majority. I think a lot of people are afraid to say anything about it because they are bringing a lot to the town as far as money.
Last year, the Department of Defense entered a $90 million agreement with Albemarle Corporation to increase domestic production of lithium for the nation's battery supply chain, specifically from Kings Mountain, North Carolina, starting by 2025. This is the same area experiencing what is being described as biblical floods.
See?
While the federal government spends billions on foreign wars and illegal immigrants, they simply cannot be bothered with the health and well-being of the American people, especially those living on coveted mineral-rich land. Reporting for InfoWars, this is Greg Reese.
See? So they're always going after the resources. They want to rob, they want to steal, and they will destroy, create calamities, sweep away the ripening harvest, impoverish people, cause the famine, etc. For their greed, for their covetousness.
I think if that existed, if we could kill hurricanes.
That we're playing God.
And this is just the rest here. You're going to get some information about geoengineering, and you will see what is said about Gates and his involvement here. And he is a contra-human. He learned from his parents about eugenics and population control and all of this, not only through the vaccines and the vaccines, but also through geoengineering.
I think if that existed, if we could kill hurricanes.
That we're playing God. So you can't do that.
Did you see on the screen? Can Bill Gates kill hurricanes? You see that? Can Bill Gates kill hurricanes? So follow, right?
I think if that existed, if we could kill hurricanes.
That we're playing God. So you can't do that.
Now, scientists say if this worked, it would actually disrupt the ocean currents, and so it would impact weather in other parts of the country. How to pay for all of this? Well, we contacted Bill Gates. His spokesman said he had no comment, but there's one theory out there that ultimately insurance companies would pay for a project like this. So, Aaron, I guess it's the policyholders in the end who will fund this if it ever goes forward.
I guess that means you and me and people like that.
There are currently 42 cloud seeding projects across the American West, like this one in Utah, where they take planes like this with flares attached. They fly right into the storm and send microscopic particles into the cloud. Particles that act like magnets for water droplets, bonding together until they are heavy enough to fall to the ground as rain or snow. At the University of Colorado, researchers are working on artificial intelligence to deploy cloud seeding drones. And it's not just cloud seeding from the sky. There are hundreds of those things. That shack you see in the foreground is a ground-based cloud seeder. The little flame coming out is sending tiny silver iodide particles up into the sky. When a storm comes through, they go up to 2,000 feet above our head, into the storm, up those mountains, and make more snow than it naturally would.
I just want to make a point. This is another theory that we've all been talking about, that everybody calls us nuts about weather modification and chemtrails and all the stuff that they put in the air, and it turns out that we're right. It's actually happening, and he's saying we don't want it in Florida. They put stuff in the air pad that makes the sun reflect so we don't get hot because of the temperature. And it's like he called it out and said that we don't want it in Florida. So that just proves, Tom, they're trying to do it. If not, they have been doing it. And that's what they do. They mock us. They say that we're crazy. They say we talk nonsense until the documents come out and a freaking governor has to come out and say, stop it and don't do it.
Watch.org has one mission: to expose and halt the ongoing illegal climate intervention operations in our sky, which, by the way, Dan, is contaminating virtually everything, every drink of water, every bite of food. These are nanoparticulate elements that are being dispersed with heavy aircraft as part of solar radiation management operations, and we're not guessing.
So you have to take, okay, people say, oh, you're mad. This is not happening. Not so. Florida has actually passed a law against it. Florida has done that because it's real. There are planes that go into the sky, go into the clouds and do that, right? And Florida has passed legislation against it. But notice what this gentleman is saying here. Also, lead researcher for Geoengineering Watch, Dane Wigginton. He's explaining that the very things that they are spraying into the clouds, they're poisonous. So you're talking about poisoning the population as well, that they fall onto, poisoning your crops, your plants, etc. You see? So in every way, it is destruction. And the very process by which they go about seeking to engineer the weather, it's destructive to health.
Halt the ongoing illegal climate intervention operations in our sky, which, by the way, Dan, is contaminating virtually everything, every drink of water, every bite of food. These are nanoparticulate elements that are being dispersed with heavy aircraft as part of solar radiation management operations, and we're not guessing. Geoengineering Watch took a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration flying lab to altitude, top scientists in it, all on film, all on the record, sampled what heavy aircraft were emitting, processed that at Rensselaer Polytechnic in New York, world-renowned lab, found exactly what we knew we'd find, starting with aluminum nanoparticles. And Dan, bioavailable aluminum is toxic to all life forms, period. And now it's in virtually everything.
You hear that? They found, when they checked, they found aluminum nanoparticles. So that's getting in your crops. That's getting in your water. Yeah, and causing a lot of health problems, quite apart from the storm or the hurricane that they would engineer to bring plenty flooding and destruction to the land and to your property and so on and to lives.
Including our food, including our water.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories.
So you want to hear who is behind it? You want to hear who has geoengineering patents? Listen to this from here, right?
Food, including our water.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. A fast fact: Bill Gates holds the patent to control hurricanes, steer, strengthen, or weaken them.
What?
In 2008,
What? Did you hear that? Bill Gates holds patents for hurricanes to strengthen or weaken them. He has patents for science that could actually interfere with a hurricane to strengthen it, to make it speed up fast. It turned from category 1 to 4 in a day. Wind speed increased suddenly in a few hours. He has patents for technology to do that. This contra human here. Watch.
Toxic to all life forms, period. And now it's in virtually everything, including our food, including our water.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. A fast fact: Bill Gates holds the patent to control hurricanes, steer, strengthen, or weaken them.
Yeah.
In 2008, Bill Gates and 12...
Strengthen or weaken. Well, we know he ain't going to want to weaken it. Steer it. You remember the gentleman earlier? He was saying that Melissa was not, it wasn't natural, it was guided there. You know? He holds patent for technology that could steer a hurricane, strengthen it. Just imagine this. I won't stop it again, sorry.
Aluminum is toxic to all life forms, period. And now it's in virtually everything, including our food, including our water.
I'm Christina Awayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. A fast fact: Bill Gates holds the patent to control hurricanes, steer, strengthen, or weaken them. In 2008, Bill Gates and 12 co-inventors filed 5 applications through Cirrus LLC key filings. Wow. Gates is listed as an inventor. The patent is for technologies that alter ocean water temperatures to potentially control hurricanes.
You hear that? He's listed as an inventor. Then the Bible tells us about those who don't want to keep God in their knowledge. You reject Yahweh. You try to kill him in a temple of flesh, Jesus, and you become an inventor of evil things. Yes, the Bible tells us that in the book of Romans chapter 1. You see what we're dealing with here? You reject the true God Yahweh, who is Yahshua, his son, for false gods, as the author of You Gentiles showed, where they say they want a world of their own, where they are gods. And scripture in Deuteronomy will show us that they turn from serving Yahweh to serving false gods. Inventor of evil things. Bill Gates is listed as an inventor of a mechanism to be able to control hurricanes, to strengthen it, to steer it how he wants it to go. If he wanted to go Jamaica to get their bauxite waste, their rich rare earth minerals, he could send it there. This is the wickedness of these country humans who are tempted to murder God, who have the curse of God upon them for attempted deicide. This is the wickedness that they foster upon us. Why are these people here? They should be in jail. They should not be in humanity. They shouldn't be living among men doing this wickedness. Why would a state like Florida now decide to ban it?
Dallas, and here are your top stories. A fast fact: Bill Gates holds the patent to control hurricanes, steer, strengthen, or weaken them. In 2008, Bill Gates and 12 co-inventors filed 5 applications through Cirrus LLC key filings. Gates is listed as an inventor. The patent is for technologies that alter ocean water temperatures to potentially control hurricanes. The idea focuses on geoengineering solutions to fight climate challenges, like hurricanes. Gates claims that his idea is to weaken hurricanes using science, saying they get their strength from warm ocean surfaces, so disrupting the heat source could reduce intensity. However, some say his patents are an example of weaponizing the weather a way to achieve population control.
Exactly.
Gates has publicly described this as a plan B for climate control. The patents tie into Gates' climate funding through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which funds research into solar geoengineering. Critics accuse him of profiting from disasters, while others say unintended consequences like flooding and intense weather disasters are happening due to interference with weather, pointing to the recent flooding in Kerrville, Texas, which killed more than 100 people, Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Helene, and Hurricane Ian. In Dallas, Christine.
Well, why?
So it is not unintended consequences. It is very much intended. It is very much conspired to do. And you see, in that instance, she mentioned 100 people were killed in that terrible flooding there in Texas. This is what happens. These are the murderers and the liars, because you're talking about, oh, it's to help with climate challenges. That's a lie. You are the one that's destroying the environment by manipulating the weather to destroy livelihoods and lives and property.
Why are they directing the hurricane directly into Tampa and the Sarasota area specifically? Like, that's the question that stands out to many of us. Many people are wondering why Tampa specifically, though. Let's talk about Bill Gates, the man who wants to control the weather and reshape the way that you live. I mean, down to you not eating meat. He wants to take down forests in order to cool the climate. He wants to block out the sun. I mean, this is literally what he wants to do. He wants to test vaccines, of course, on unexpected individuals. Like, he loves this stuff right now. And this isn't some conspiracy stuff. This is fact. This is exactly what he's been doing. It's happening right now. And it's connected to something much bigger than just hurricanes and climate solutions. So stick with me here on this. Reshaping the way you live through weather manipulation is what Bill Gates wants to do. So let's start with this. Back in 2009, Bill Gates puts his name on a patent for controlling hurricanes. Yes, you can't make this stuff up. On hurricanes, watch.
When you hear the name Bill Gates, you probably think Microsoft founder. But now the billionaire may be known as the hurricane tamer. Gates is listed as one of 13 inventors on a patent filed for hurricane prevention methods. Hurricanes gain strength from condensation driven by warm surface water, which leads to greater wind speeds. Gates and his team plan to use a fleet of ships to cool warm surface water by mixing it with colder water from greater depths. They hope this will sap energy from growing storms, leading to weaker, less devastating hurricanes. The patent, which isn't expected to be approved for another 18 months, was submitted by CREET LLC, a sub-entity of an Intellectual Ventures and an invention acquisition and development firm.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong when Bill Gates becomes a hurricane tamer and does it under the auspices of trying to downsize the level of this?
He also wants to minimize the effects of the sun as well. That's another patent we've talked about. He actually has said that. This is not crazy talk from us.
Have they never watched Frankenstein? Like, if you mess with things that you don't understand, sometimes the results are not good. And it's like, you can't just test this stuff, you know?
Well, look at Dubai. Right. I mean, a perfect example in recent memory is earlier this spring in Dubai, right? I mean, they control the weather. The UAE is very open and admitting that they have their weather manipulation program on purpose to cloud seed and rain all through the United Arab Emirates. Massive flooding because they did too much of it. You can't control it in the way that you hope. Even going back to the early days of Project Cirrus. And the initial attempts to control the weather, General Electric research labs got out of the business, and they were worried about being sued out of existence because of the devastation that they wrought throughout Georgia by manipulating a hurricane. Trying to bring its size down. Instead, they raised it up and pushed it right back into Georgia. This is well documented. You can look it up if you want to do the research. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, David brought up a really good point, and that's your lab setting cannot be the Earth. And since you can't control this in a controlled setting, that's, I can't test whether or not this aerosol I have is incredibly toxic to people by just releasing it into a city and seeing what happens. That's not good science.
It's out of control. Yeah. That's not a controlled lab environment. But they love testing things on us. I mean, look at what they did with COVID, for crying out loud. Let's use the Earth in order to see how this works out. Let's see what it does to lock down children all over the world. How does that going to... Oh, now we know. Let's put masks on everyone around the world. Let's see how that turns out. Well, now we know.
It's like Oppenheimer. It's like, hey, we're going to blow this up. We could completely destroy if these ions do this, it could destroy all of humanity. But you know what? We're willing to risk it to be in the lead with nuclear weapons.
I love this. I love this super chat from John DeLeo. He says, redacted haters wear masks alone in their cars. Yes, you've seen those people. Yes. If you're a redacted hater, you're probably wearing a mask alone in your car. Anyway, so Bill Gates holds a hurricane modification patent, a hurricane patent that can tame a hurricane. And the patent allows for strengthening and steering of the hurricane. You can read the patent yourself.
So then how is that taming it? It shows that the whole name of it is a lie. It's not for no taming of the hurricane, because if the patent includes strengthening it, then that's not taming it. Why would you want to strengthen? That's not taming. So they are liars and they are murderers. That is what we are seeing here with Bill Gates. And these people get permission to do these things. You can't trust these agencies that are supposed to look out for the interests and the rights of the people. They allow Bill Gates to do what he wants. These contra humans have money. Satan prospers and favors them to carry out his designs, which is destruction to humanity. Why? Because he's the original attempted murderer of God. And he uses his contra humans who took on his traits because of their rejection of that same God in a temple of flesh to do the same thing. Yeah, they are the world's destroyers.
For strengthening and steering of the hurricane. You can read the patent yourself. It allows for the strengthening and steering of the hurricane. Bill Gates holds this patent. But ask yourself, why is Bill Gates, a guy who made billions in technology, suddenly interested in controlling natural disasters? It's not like he's a meteorologist or a climate scientist. So what's the real agenda here?
He's a thief. He stole shrink wrap software.
Yes, from IBM.
Yes.
Yeah. So why do you think this is? Why exactly? What is the motivation for someone like Bill Gates to be involved in this? Well, could it have anything to do with this, as we talked about yesterday? The 15-minute city project. As we reported yesterday, Tampa Bay had been selected as a new 15-minute city. Among other cities, Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, there's a list of these 15-minute city projects that are unfolding, and Tampa Bay is set to be one of them. And Bill Gates has a massive investment in Tampa Bay's 15-minute city project, which covers 40 acres of waterfront property.
You hear that? So geoengineering for the pushing of 15-minute cities or smart cities. And that's what we heard people talking about in the case of Jamaica. People were so... The evils are so stripped, the contra humans are so stripped that people were quick to identify the reality of Jamaica as one that had just had a digital ID conference, one that has is going on with their plan for smart cities in cooperation with the New World Order plans, okay, for digital control and so on. And they quickly connected it and said, hey, something is wrong. This storm was too strange, and could it be that it is because of this? And now we are seeing those who are researching Gates' role and the fact, not a suspicion here, the fact that he holds patents for geoengineering, and particularly concerning hurricanes, to steer hurricanes, to strengthen hurricanes, because that's what it really is. They have identified that he also has investment in what? in plans for 15-minute cities. You see? So it's all about the communism of the Great Reset, the New World Order agenda. And this is Barabbasism. This is what the Jews took up when they rejected Yahweh in a temple of flesh, when they attempted deicide.
Among other cities, Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine, there's a list of these 15-minute city projects that are unfolding, and Tampa Bay is set to be one of them. And Bill Gates has a massive investment in Tampa Bay's 15-minute city project, which covers 40 acres of waterfront property. Now, if you haven't heard of 15-minute cities, let me explain. The idea is that everything you need, your job, your grocery store, your entertainment, your education, should all be within a 15-minute walk. You don't need to drive a car. Your carbon footprint is too much. You will scan your ID walking along, so we will know all about your movements, your carbon footprint. It will reduce climate change. You won't be driving any kind of fossil fuel car. It all sounds so convenient, right? But here's the thing. This isn't about walkable communities at all. It's all about control, as our friend of the show, Whitney Webb, has so eloquently put it here on our show. And this is exactly what the World Economic Forum wants. You can read all about 15-minute cities right on the World Economic Forum's own website. I encourage you all to go to their website and do it. I won't bore you with it right now. But they actively promote it and they actively want it.
Satanic Jew.
They are selling us more automated life, of course, but to what end exactly? Could it be what European MP Christine Anderson warned us about? They want more automation, less autonomy for human beings, and therefore more control of our lives. Here she is talking about this recently to the Epoch Times.
Green certificate, the COVID pass, that was a test balloon to get people to having to produce some kind of a QR code, just getting people used to that. Now what they're slamming us with is these 15-minute cities. Make no mistake, it's not about your convenience. It's not that they want you to be able to, have all of these places that you need to get to very close. And it's not about saving the planet either, by the way. The 15-minute cities, they will have to have those before they can lock you down. And that's what we're talking about here. So in Great Britain, some county already passed legislation. They will be able to impose a climate lockdown. That's the next step. That's what we're talking about. So in order to do that, they will have to have these 15-minute cities. The next...
So she's a member of Parliament, Christine Anderson, and a hero, by the way. So Tampa is one of these cities on the list for this 15-minute city concept, and Bill Gates investing massively into this. So he's going to both try to control the hurricanes on the front end, holding patents on geoengineering, climate control, the strengthening and steering of hurricanes, while also on the back end investing in Tampa's 15-minute city project. Like, that's a brilliant investment, right? Invest on the front end, make a lot of money on the front end, then make a lot of money on the back end. Once this part of the waterfront area of Tampa gets destroyed, and hey, maybe there's a giant land grab, just like we saw in Maui with the giant land grab. We get to swoop in and put in all new walkable 15-minute city test beds. And by the way, I totally forgot to even mention this, but Hawaii specifically is focused on 15-minute cities. And so, again, you could go down a conspiracy rabbit hole if you want, but you wipe away complete communities, you have a government land grab, and then you're going to sort of implement these test pilot projects of 15-minute cities. Like, it sounds crazy. Maybe we're nuts. Let us know your thoughts on this and Bill Gates' ownership.
Couple things. Looks like we have a new smart city land clearing operation going on. This time it's in Jamaica with Hurricane Melissa, the fastest growing hurricane ever. Hurricane Melissa is now stronger than Hurricane Katrina. The slow moving Category 5 hurricane is forecasted to dump several feet of rain on New Kingston, aka New Jamaica, which is already slated to be a smart city. That's 8 billion reasons to send a Harpo-cane to Jamaica.
Now look at the Gates. We be reminded briefly who he is. Less than 2 minutes. Look at him. With Rabbi Schneerson, the one who told Bibi Netanyahu he have to bring the Messiah. You understand? The Shabbat Lubavitch rape tunnel people. Many have seen this pic of young Bill Gates, but many have not paid attention to who he is paying attention to. Here he is with degenerate Rabbi Schneerson, head of the Jews, extremists, Shabbat Lubavitch, extremists, all of them in full sinning. Rape tunnel people. Gates' mother was a Maxwell, apparently related to the Israel Mossad agents Robert and Ghislaine Maxwell, the delightful pair who used child trafficking to blackmail world leaders with Jeffrey Epstein. Small world. You see? But we will hear more about his mother and father in a brief clip coming up here. This is who have the patents to geoengineer hurricanes.
And Mama Gates, who also is known as Mary Maxwell, started off as a humble school teacher and eventually became chairwoman of United Way. She came from a long line of money and power, as her father was a wealthy banker and her grandfather served as president of the National City Bank in Seattle and was the director of the Seattle branch of the Federal Reserve Bank. Side note, how come when you travel down the rabbit hole on virtually any topic, the same creatures are always festering down at the bottom?
Satanic Jews.
With a bloodline like this, it seems like, for Bill, the path ahead was clear. In all of his biographies, there's an emphasis on Bill's intellect that manifested early on in childhood. He was smarter than the other children. He was different. He was destined for success. Nicknamed Trey, but formerly known as William Gates III, Bill Gates was born in 1955 in Seattle, Washington, into a family of affluence and power. His father, William Gates II, measuring 6 feet 7 inches tall, was an attorney who co-founded Preston Gates and Ellis, a law firm that had offices across the United States and China. As a man highly involved in politics, William Gates holds quite the laundry list of accolades, as he sat on the board of eugenicist Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood before the era of Roe v. Wade. As he sat on the board of eugenicist Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood before the era of Roe v. Wade.
Eugenics determine the population control. Who should live, who should die, what race, what group should be in greater number than others. Excuse me. And we know that that is why he is so involved in the making of vaccines and vaccines that kill, that destroy human health and kill people, that murder people. And here we are being told plainly that he has patents for geoengineering, for weather manipulation. Of course, there are other agencies in government. Some of them were mentioned, the Department of Defense and so on and so forth. I wouldn't bother to play that clip. But we had looked in the past and seen that they have been involved in cloud seeding and so on. Some of it was mentioned in the reports by Greg Reese when he talked about the different projects that they had. How they have been involved, government agencies have been involved in these things. But I wanted you to see Gates because he's a contra-human. He's one of those satanic Jews. And so you see the kind of things they're involved in because of their rejection of Christ. These men are not Christians. They are not even individually followers of Jesus Christ. Talking about Gates. And so they are the children of those who killed our Yahweh Jesus and their own prophets. And when we say these things, it's not because we are anti-Semitic. No, not at all. Let me tell you who we are. Just briefly here in this slide. For anyone who will come across this study, please understand, we are not anti-Semitic. And I say that with the understanding of what they mean when they say anti-Semitic. I will say other things too. Let me read the statement first, and then I'll show you the chart. Brother Medina had explained these things before, and he said, mark this with care. Mark this with care. What the Jews wrongly call anti-Semitism today is a biblical thing that God said he will cause to come upon them because of their evils. Blame is placed by God upon the Jews in the first witness in Moses' Torah and not upon the reactions of their victims. So don't blame us, the victims of their sinning, their destruction. God blames them for their sinning of rejecting Yahweh's Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus. We need a term to better call what is called anti-Semitism. God already tells us to call them contra-humans in the second witness, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 14 to 16. God already tells us to call them contra-humans in the second witness. We are to publicly identify them and all the evils. For this is approved of God in the Bible, in the Torah. But penal punishment of an equitable form is for the uncorrupted judicial system of a nation and not for the public. That's why we will call upon Bill Gates to be jailed, because he has been involved in genocidal behavior with these vaccines and these mRNA that he has stake in and that he has funded and that he has lied to the nations about, that has poisoned the people. Perhaps a good term might be anti-Ziotacaism. Who knows? Anti-Ziotacaism or anti-Ziotacanism, a combination of Zionism, the Talmud, and the Kabbalah. To be anti-Semitic, or better named anti-Ziotacaism, is to be against all the horrible things Israel, the Jews, and the modern-day Israelis did. Identified in the whole Bible, even the Jews' crucifixion of the Messiah. That is what it is. It is to be against those things. And we see that who they crucified as the Messiah and who they attempted to murder, following Satan, was really God himself, Yahweh, in a temple of flesh. They have the sin of attempted deicide. And the curse of God is upon them forever because of it. And we have a right to be against that. Truth is the defense to those who are against all these criticisms. If you hate our criticisms, go ahead and speak truth. Show where we are lying if you dare. To call and knowledge misinformation or disinformation or even hate speech, their defense is not censorship. You don't censor so-called misinformation and disinformation and hate speech, so-called hate speech. You don't censor it you don't seek to defend truth by censoring people. If you say you have truth and what we have is misinformation and disinformation and hate speech, you don't seek to defend your so-called truth by censoring us. Their defense is not censorship. Their defense is the truth. Truth is the defense. So we can show the idolatry without fear. You could call us names. We will show the truth. Like we show Gates is a contra-human. He's a satanic Jew. That's why he would do cloud seeding. That's why he will do strengthening of hurricanes. That will bring destruction. That will bring loss of life. That will bring famine by sweeping away the ripening harvest. That will bring pestilences. That's why he will talk about increase in vaccines. That's why he will be talking about the next pandemic will be worse. How he knows about the next pandemic? Because he's a part of the conspiracy for the manufacturing of it. And when we say these things, we are speaking the truth because the evidence is there. He grew and learned from parents who were eugenicists, who believed. I mean, imagine the pride and the God complex you have to think that you could determine who should live and who should die. To think that you could determine population control and this group have to die, and if we do a good job with vaccines and if we do a good job with this, we will get rid of how much percentage? Imagine the arrogance you have to have. Imagine the claim in your mind of being God with God that you have to have, as if you are some creator with the creator to determine who should live and who should die. And when we say these things, we are speaking the truth. We could show it by the grace of God without fear. And not only do they call us anti-Semitic, they will seek to punish us for it. Or I should say, persecute us. Jail, fines. Some have even called for death for it. But we maintain we are not anti-Semitic as they call it. We are anti-Ziotacaism. That's what we have. We are anti-Zionism. Their belief that they have some right to some land and it belongs to them. When God plucked them out of it, when God drove them out of it, when they were scattered because they rejected Christ, because They did not keep the commandments of Yahweh God, but turned to other gods because of sinfulness among them. Yet they claim, while sinning, that the land belongs to them. And Christ said, no. In the Gospels, Christ said, you will be besieged. An army will come. And this temple here, not one stone will be left after the destruction. And this place, Jerusalem, will be trodden by Gentiles until the fulfilling of the times of the Gentiles. In other words, until the end of Gentile nations. But you say the land belongs to you. With your bigotry and your racism, your Jewish supremacy racism, we are anti that. That is what caused you to think that you're better than somebody and people should die who you say should die and you alone should live. And you should get the lithium and you should get the rare earth minerals, etc. And people's crops and people's land and people's property should go and even their lives with it. Who cares? That's your attitude. We are anti-Zionism. We are anti-Talmudism that rejects Jesus Christ, that says that the Gentiles are cattle. And we are just there for your use, for your for you to enslave. We reject that. We are anti-Talmudism. We are anti-Kabbalism with your worship of your Ensof, your serpent god. Because there's one true God, Yahweh. That's what we have. Anti-Ziotachaism, not anti-Semitism. But if you call our anti-Ziotachaism and our pointing out your sins and telling you need conversion to Jesus Christ, if you want to call that anti-Semitism, then you will say we are anti-Semitic. But we are saying to you, you have sin and sinning, you are yet in your sins. As individuals, you need to repent of your attempted deicide, accept the faith of Jesus Christ, which gives you the revelation of the true God, Yahweh, who is only revealing his son, Yeshua, Messiah, and become justly created by him, by his faith. Be created in Christ Jesus after true righteousness and true holiness. And if we say that to you, but you insist you have no sin in, even though you're unconverted to Christ, then you will call us anti-Semitism. But we are actually pro-Semitism. Because it is love for you why we are telling you you have sin in, you are unconverted, and you need to be converted to Jesus Christ in order to be saved. Dear, terrorism is what we hate. There's Semitic terrorism against people